Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. A little while ago we did a video detailing the 5 most dangerous things that lie hidden within the unknown regions of space. Wild space has been a topic that has been touched on very little in Star Wars canon and even in Legends. Many things that lie within the unknown space remain a complete mystery. The unknown regions takes up nearly half of the Star Wars galaxy, which begs the question, why hasn't it been explored in the first place? Well, in today's video, we hope to analyze the star charts, run some numbers in our nav computer, and open some data cards in order to exactly answer why the unknown regions are exactly that. So unknown. And hopefully by the end of this video we'll have a better idea exactly why all those that travel to the unknown regions of space never seem to return, as well as why the unknown regions are so dangerous, not because of the creatures that lie within the unknown regions, but because they're so dangerous to travel in the first place. So with introductions out of the way, let us begin. As you very well know, the main method of travel between systems is known as hyperspace in the Star Wars galaxy. The entirety of the Star Wars galaxy is connected by these things known as hyperspace lanes. For those of you that may not know or may need a refresher, hyperspace, despite being called colloquially nicknamed light speed or hyperspeed, isn't simply the ships going very fast. If this were the case, then ships would be constantly colliding with planets, moons, nebulas, and asteroids all of the time. Hyperspace itself is basically another dimension within space that ships can enter using hyperdrives. Hyperlanes are essentially interdimensional tubes that ships can travel through. And this is essentially how hyperspace lanes are pioneered and how travel happens in the Star Wars universe. The galaxy is connected and mapped by these hyperspace lanes, like one big nervous system. Well-traveled and commonly known hyperlanes are the most consistent and always stay open. However, in places like the deep core and in the unknown regions, these hyperspace lanes have not been well charted and are frequently subject to rapidly opening and closing, as well as simply shifting course at any given moment. This unpredictability makes hyperspace exploration into the unknown regions extremely dangerous. There are many theories as to why the unknown regions are so difficult and nigh impossible to explore. However, there is a firm reason, and not exactly a theory but more a proper explanation. This reason comes in the form of an anomaly known as the Tangle. The Western Barrier, also known as the Hyperspace Tangle or the Tangle, was a chain of hyperspace anomalies that bisected to the galaxy west of the deep core and prevented exploration of the unknown regions for a millennia. The Tangle formed in the middle of the circumferential hyperspace barrier that enveloped the galaxy in a shell of hyperspace turbulence. In English, the entire Star Wars galaxy is enveloped in a barrier that prevents entry or exit from it. And this is the reason why no one who has ever tried to leave the galaxy has ever come back. The species known as the Yuzhong Vong had found a very specific weak point in the hyperspace barrier and somehow entered the galaxy that we know through there. It was believed by the pre-Republic scientists that the barrier was put in place by the ones of Mortis in order to defend the galaxy against extragalactic threats. Despite this barrier, it seems that the borders of it are somewhat permeable and that it can actually be manipulated, as we know that there are actually some planets in the unknown regions that can and have been consistently reached. Most prominently, the planet of Ilum, which Force-sensitive navigators can usually find very easily, as well as the planet of Camino, and not to mention Corellian traders who had been in touch with the Chiss for many years. The barrier was created by the Celestials to protect against threats such as the Yuzhong Vong, the Rakatan Empire, and most notably, the entity known as Mangal. Everyone strap in, as we are about to dive into something quite horrifying, and the reason for the galactic barrier is about to make a lot of sense. If you want the more common answer though, it's because the hyperspace lanes are constantly in flux and constantly changing, as well as they're incredibly difficult to map out with the ship itself not being destroyed. Now though, let's talk about the Mangal. This creature was an amorphous gray slime that is believed to be extra-dimensional in origin. The slime can move quickly and shapeshift to look like simple creatures. It could split its body and travel separately in worm-like stakes or even grow wings in order to fly. What makes the Mangal so deadly though is what it could do to living organisms. The slime would attack its victims and enter the body, whether through the nose, mouth, or even pores if necessary. After which, it would proceed to feast on the organism from the inside, first digesting their brain and then the rest of its organs, leaving the victim a brittle husk. From here, it can completely dominate their body and use it to move around with enough dexterity and precision to even pilot a ship if necessary. When the body that was currently hosting it rots to the point of uselessness, it will find another host to inhabit, springing towards their new victim's face out of the services of the previous one. The more biological mass it consumed, the Mungal would grow in size all the while, its intention to spread itself across the galaxy until it completely dominates every plant, animal, and being, as it is worth mentioning that every separated part of the Mungal shares one single hive mind, and spreads very quickly and easily. At a long forgotten point in the past, it had taken over and rendered lifeless the planet of Mugfalo. Eons later, Mungal had spread across to the planet, even filling all of its former oceans and destroying all of its natural beauty, to the point that all that remained visible of the former world were barren continents and the remains of fossilized trees. Its body ran so far and deep across the planet that it ran in rivers across the continents and filled underground grottos. As a testament to its depraved mind, Mungal created a macabre decoration of a fleet of derelict ships forming a ring around the planet, their origins ranging from across millennia and thousands upon thousands of years. This was simply its decorations. It used its mind-controlled zombies to pilot the ships there. Over the course of its existence, Mungal staked its claim to thousands upon thousands of worlds, moons, and space stations, all throughout the unknown regions, and those from separate galaxies that had traveled there. For those of you who have read the Death Troopers novel, it was found that the properties of Mungal shared heavy similarities to the virus found on Project Blackwing. The slime was in fact very intelligent, and maybe even had a connection to the dark side, as Mungal delighted in torturing and consuming other beings. The creature actually seemed to thrive more on a being's suffering than on the sustenance that their bodies provided to it. Using its possession abilities, it would create torturous scenarios such as reuniting a grieving mother with the reanimated corpse of their youngling time and time again in order to create the most terrifying visions possible, in order to essentially make their prey more delicious. It would persuade other beings by playing with their emotions, persuading them into making deadly decisions such as opening a ship's airlock or deactivating perimeter fences. Anyone who spoke to it would find that it knew much of the ancient knowledge and could speak many ancient languages long forgotten. The creature knew of events such as the dawn of the Jedi Order and told tales of the Ones as well as the Rakatan Empire, tales from the very beginning of Star Wars lore. In my humble opinion, I would say that this being rivaled the threat level of Abeloth herself, and perhaps it is for the best that the unknown regions remained unexplored. I also believe that it is a major gift and a major reason why the ones of Mortis may have made the unknown regions so unexplorable and so dangerous to begin with the Mungal being among the greatest threats ever in the Star Wars mythos. So friends, what did you think of this video? And do you hope to get more information about the unknown regions as Star Wars canon continues to unfold? And what are your thoughts on the deadliness of Mungal? Drop a comment down below on what type of video and what aspect of Star Wars lore you would like to see explored next, and chart your hyperlanes carefully.